And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Friday, folks. End of the weekend. We've made it. But we're 7 days a week, so we ain't got no weekend. But, yeah, today on the show, we are going to be breaking down, Hawks, Bucks, man. Jeez Louise, we cannot get this series right, folks. Bucks take game number 5. No Giannis, no Trae Young. And the Hawks just kind of came out a little bit flat. They were hitting the threes. That kept them in the game, but overall just a flat overall tone. And now they're down 3-2 in the series, going back to Atlanta for game 6. Is Trae Young going to be healthy? Is he going to be ready to rock? Still a question mark. So we'll break down that game. Unfortunately, there's no NBA on tonight, folks. There is no playoffs on tonight. The Suns-Clippers series has wrapped up. The Suns are in the finals, and now we're in this dreaded period. The period that we knew was coming. But now that it's here, it's truly unfortunate. So basketball will now only be on every other day for probably only the next 2 weeks, folks. And then it's done. But then we go heavy into the NFL season, getting us all right, getting us our prepared for this next month before training camp starts. So I guess that is a little bit of a silver lining, I guess. So no NBA on tonight, no moneymaker. So we're really going to have to make these last moneymakers count, and we are going to get back on track for these last games for the Eastern Conference Finals and hopefully get it all good. We will be good. No, hopefully. We will get it done. Moneymaker, we will hit every single moneymaker for the finals. We got to make up for these Eastern and Western Conference Finals because we have been all over the place. Yeah. And then we may get to Aaron Rodgers' 2015 playoff run, starting with the wild card game against Washington. We'll see if it's kind of fitting on, he's facing Washington, and we may watch that game and talk it through and see how much credit Aaron Rodgers deserves for that win. We may get to that, depending on how much time we got in the show, because the stories, they could go long. We'll see. So we got to start here. Let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day, and why I said it's kind of fitting. We may be watching that Packers-Washington game is because we got to talk about this Washington football team, folks. So Washington was fined $10 million following a workplace review of their team. And this goes back to last year, folks. We talked about it, the Washington football team scandal. We have 2 videos on it last year. They're titled Washington Scandal and Washington Scandal Part 2. So you can find those on our YouTube channel if you want to go and kind of get all the information of what was truly going on in the Washington football team front office, as well as the cheerleaders, folks, because that was a whole wild thing that we read. We're not going to go back and talk about all that, and, there was text messages and article after article. You do have to subscribe to, the Washington Post if you wanted to read that article. We did that, and then we unsubscribed, but I'm not going to resubscribe to that to, just kind of, gloss over it. So just kind of, for the cheerleading aspect, it was real wild, folks. They were they were kind of using their cheerleaders as kind of escorts for kind of the VIP club members, the season ticket holder VIP, very important clients that they were trying to get business with. It was real messy, folks. There was this one photo shoot when they were in a foreign country on the beach, and then they were once again being kind of escorted-ish. I'm not going to say anything's concrete because, once again, this is all kind of, he said, she said. We get firsthand accounts from the cheerleaders and what they're saying, but then we also had kind of the cheer captain who was overseeing everything kind of saying, yeah, it didn't really play out like that. So once again, we're just kind of, we're saying what the cheerleaders were saying. Obviously, we can't say it as concrete proof and all that. But that whole story was absolutely bizarre. So if you want to kind of check that out, that's on our YouTube channel. Just search Washington cheer. What was it? It's like Washington football team scandal. And I will have to preface it by saying this. This was very early in our Takes by Fans career. So that first video, we were sweating profusely in our studio here. Now we got the adequate air, very, very comfortable here. So we're not sweating. We're not sweating anymore in the studio. And then also, once again, it was very early in our Takes by Fans career, and we were kind of trying to be like NPR with the very soft talking, and this is a podcast, so we're very soft spoken. So we've grown, folks. We have grown. But those are our little earlier videos. So if you want to check out those details, we do have the video on that. But I do kind of want to take a step through this article from ESPN about this entire thing, what's happening with Dan Snyder, the owner of Washington, what's happening now because of the ruling with the $10 million, because everything folks, you would never even know about the scandal, folks. That got buried instantly last year. We talked about it, and that was really it. You didn't really hear any information, and now I want to go in this article to really see what is going on with those consequences from the ruling of, what they find officially. Washington has been fined $10 million as a result of the NFL's investigation into team culture. So once again, they're kind of sweeping it under the rug. There's no kind of accountability. There's no really kind of hinting back to that article and pointing, what actually happened. It's all just kind of, broad. Oh, it's, it was the culture. It was the culture in the front office. That's what it is. But we're really not getting into the nitty gritty details of truly what happened. And if you didn't remember of what happened, or watch our video from last year, you would be like, oh, this is kind of nothing. Oh, we're not even really kind of seeing any concrete details in here. Oh, it's just kind of overall, it's just overall team culture. Oh, okay. So they're just kind of truly dancing around this. And we do have an article by somebody else, an opinion piece from the Washington Post that it's kind of calls it out a little bit. So I do kind of want to just read these two articles, get all the information on what is going on with this Washington team. So let's start here with the ESPN article. Let's read through this and let's see what we get and what is happening now that the Washington football team has been... Hang on. Did they just delete this article? Hang on. Here we go. Okay, here we go. The NFL has fined the Washington football team $10 million as a result of the league's investigation into the team's workplace culture. The money will be used to support organizations committed to character education, anti-bullying, healthy relationships, and related topics, the league said. In addition, Tanya Snyder, Dan Snyder's wife, who was named the team's co-CEO this week. So once again, kind of, a lot of section. So with the cheerleaders, it was kind of like escorting and it was real bizarre. And then in the front office, it was just kind of classic, hierarchy, women feeling kind of truly uncomfortable. And there was a lot of, text messages and really kind of damning evidence that these women were really telling the truth, kind of a hostile work environment for females. That's just kind of classic in a lot of business. It shouldn't be that way, but that's kind of, when you think of sexual harassment in the workplace, I'm sure you can always, they're talking about this and, feeling kind of, lesser, feeling like they have to do it or they'll get fired, stuff like that. And that was all backed up by text messages and firsthand accounts when we talked about that story as well. And one quote is just sticking out in my mind from that from the articles on when all this came out. It was like somebody, a guy in the front office was saying like, damn, she had an ass like a wagon. So, just kind of, classic sexual harassment, not wanted advances that men think, I'm being playful and funny, and women kind of being like, I'm here to work, y'all. Like, I'm not here to just kind of be made like a sex object of. So that's the front office kind of what was going on in the front office of Washington. But let's get back to the article here. So they name, Tanya Snyder, a woman, a co-CEO, to once again just kind of sweep this under the rug. Hey, we don't discriminate over here. We got the owner's wife. Yeah, we're going to appoint her the co-CEO. So it's like, what? So Tanya Snyder, who was named the team's co-CEO this week, will take over the day-to-day duties and represent the franchise at league functions for the next several months. Her husband, Dan Snyder, will focus on a new stadium plan and other matters. So they're trying to they can't force Dan Snyder out as the owner of Washington. I think they've tried multiple times, and he never budges. He's keeping it. So they're trying to kind of move Dan Snyder out of the light and elevate his wife, Tanya Snyder, as, all right, she's actually the face. She's the overall face. And, Dan Snyder, he just handles, whatever. We put him in the basement. We don't want y'all to even know about this man. So all senior executives, including Snyder, will take part in training in workplace conduct covering topics such as bullying, diversity and inclusion, LGBTQ plus issues, microaggressions, and unconscious bias. So Dan Snyder got everybody in trouble now. Thanks, Dan. We got to go to this freaking diversity meeting. Jeez, we know how to treat people. You don't, and now we all have to pay for it. Damn you, Dan. Quote here by Dan Snyder. I have learned a lot in the past few months about how my club operated. I mean, how bizarre is that, folks? Dude, you cannot tell me if you are the owner of a company, a business, anything, a Facebook page, a Twitter page. If you're the owner of anything, you know exactly what is going on in every department on everything, folks. That's like your job. You just oversee everything. You have daily meetings. All right, what's going on with this? Okay. All right, now you, what's up? What's in your department? Okay, that's going on. All right. You delegate, but you always have like a briefing, a meeting every day to catch up on what's going on. So the fact that, I've learned a lot in the past few months about how my club was operated, you know damn well when it was going on. So once again, nobody ever takes responsibility here, folks. And that's kind of why we want to point out this article right here, because we're not getting any kind of tying back to what the real issues were. It's all dancing around and, oh my God, I didn't even know. This is all new to me. Oh my God, I'm as shocked as the NFL. I didn't know this was going on. Come on, folks. Come on. Let's be a little smarter than that. But here we go. Quote, I have learned a lot in the past few months about how my club operated in the kind of workplace that we had. It is now clear that the culture was not what it should be, but I did not realize the extent of the problems or my role in allowing that culture to develop and continue. I know that as the owner, I am ultimately responsible for the workplace. Exactly. So, I wasn't responsible then, but now I know my true duty now, and I'm going to be responsible now. Give us a break. I know that as the owner, I am ultimately responsible for the workplace. I have said that, and I say it again. Okay, so you better be saying it every day, because it kind of seems like sometimes, you actually forget. So let's say this every day so you don't forget, so the workplace environment is not hostile anymore. Continue on with Dan Snyder, quote here. Quote, I feel great remorse for the people who had difficult, even traumatic experiences while working here. There was one kind of, front office woman that said, I was crying every day because of how I was treated and how I was just kind of sexualized on a daily basis. I would be crying at my desk, crying in the bathroom every single day because, I wanted to be this. This was my dream job, and I finally got here, and now I truly see the inner workings and how it all works. And now it kind of, ruined my dream job. I don't even want to be here anymore. And that's truly unfortunate. Could you imagine getting your dream job and then, finding out, hey, this is actually hostile and this is actually how it operates? Imagine having your dream just crushed right in front of you. I don't want that to happen to me. Shit. So I feel great remorse for the people who had difficult, even traumatic experiences while working here. I'm truly sorry for that. I can't turn back the clock, but I promise that nobody who works here will ever have that kind of experience again. At least not as long as Tanya and I are the owners of this team. Okay. All right. Yeah, because you're in the basement now. Tanya's taking over. So hopefully Tanya doesn't run the same hostile workplace that Dan did. But, once again, they are husband and wife, so birds of a feather flock together. But we'll see. All right, here we go. Continuing on with the article. Lisa Banks and Deborah Katz, who represent 40 former employees, said in a statement that the NFL chose, quote, protect owner Dan Snyder, and said the fine amounted to pocket change. Once again, it's $10 million, folks. I mean, come on. That's nothing. The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business. $10 million. It's literally pocket change. So once again, I mean, folks, we're talking about 40 former employees. And I think when we were talking about the cheerleaders, it was about 15. So, I mean, there's weight in numbers, folks. I mean, Deshaun Watson's being accused by 20-plus women. This is 40. So, we do have to kind of, take every information with a grain of salt. I truly understand that. But when we got 40 people all having very similar experiences, you kind of have to take what they say as, kind of fact. If we're judging everything, we have to kind of weight it, at least, 60-40, 60 truth, because nobody's ever going to, Dan Quinn's not taking responsibility or saying that this happens. He's like, if it did happen, I'm sorry. And it won't happen again if it did happen. So once again, it's he said, she said. We don't have any truly concrete evidence. But when we have 40 kind of all having similar experiences, we do have to kind of weigh that in our mind, kind of, all right, let's kind of weigh this 60, at least 60%. This is kind of true. Maybe 40% false, but, when we're doing, if it's above 50-50, we kind of have to lean and, hey, this is kind of, maybe not to the full extent, but yeah, this is kind of what's going on here. Let's continue back here. So, Lisa Banks and Deborah Katz, who represent 40 former employees, said in a statement that the NFL chose to protect owner Dan Snyder and said the fine amounted to, quote, pocket change. They had wanted the report to be made public, but attorney Beth Wilkinson, who conducted the investigation, orally submitted her findings and recommendations to the league. So it's not even made public. Once again, the NFL sweeping this under the rug. Oh, this is bad for business. We can't have this in the media. And once again, nobody taking accountability, nobody taking that responsibility. And that's, once again, everyone's, hey, if you do something wrong, you gotta just take responsibility, take ownership. But the people at the top don't. This kind of ties back to the money, those college players getting paid. Hey, no, you're getting the free tuition. It's all kind of wrapped up, folks. Don't play by the rules if the people at the top aren't playing by the rules. Come on. Let's keep going back here to this article. We'll talk about NFL players getting paid or college athletes getting paid in a second. We do have that story, and it's kind of great. But let's keep going here. All right, so they had wanted the report to be made public, but attorney Beth Wilkinson, who conducted the investigation, orally submitted her findings and recommendations to the league. How crazy. And once again, nothing. Let's keep reading the article and see if there's any information that ties back to those previous articles. But let's keep going. Quote, this is truly outrageous and a slap in the face to the hundreds of women and former employees who came forward in good faith and at great personal risk to report a culture of abuse at all levels of the team, including by Snyder himself. Oh, I didn't know this was going on. He was taking part in it. Their statement said, quote, the NFL has effectively told survivors in this country and around the world that it does not care about them or credit their experiences. Female fans and fans of goodwill everywhere take note. But once again, everyone's just nobody's going to read this article. Everyone's just going to look at the headline and be like, oh, $10 million. Oh, wow, that must have been something. All right, who's on Hard Knocks this year? Oh, it's the Cowboys. Let's start talking about that. And, we are going to be talking about that too, folks. We're not going all day on Washington, but good portion. Because, it's frustrating how nobody talks about certain things when all this is truly going on and we don't learn and get better. Everyone just wants to sweep everything under the rug. Everyone wants to always do the right thing, but then the people at the top don't. But I'm expected to do that? I'm not buying it. All right. Let's get back to the article here. Here we go. In a conference call with the media Thursday, Lisa Fields, the NFL's special counsel for investigations, said Wilkinson found Washington's workplace, quote, highly unprofessional. Bullying and intimidation frequently took place, and many described the culture as one of fear, Friel said, based on Wilkinson's report. She said because of a subpar human resources division, even when reports were made, they were, quote, generally not investigated and led to no meaningful discipline. Quote, the culture at the club was very toxic and it fell far short of the NFL's values, and we hold ownership to a higher standard. Oh, you do? So you'll only charge him $10 million and make him hire his wife as the co-CEO? That's the punishment? That doesn't seem like that higher of a standard to me. Billionaires having to pay $10 million and then hiring their wives? Oh, I'll get punished like that. What do I have to do to get punished like that? Because I'll do that shit. Where do we leave off? Okay, the culture at the clubs were very toxic and it fell far short of the NFL's values, and we hold ownership to a higher standard, Field said. Quote, which is why today's announcement is not only about accountability for the past, but also ensuring the improvements already underway as the club continues in the future. Okay, so everyone has to take bullying courses. All right, because that's going to change everything, right? I'm sure these people already had to take bullying courses. If I remember correctly, they already had to do some of these things, but now they have to do them again. Okay. She said Coach Ron Rivera and team president James Wright were highly respected in that, plus a slew of diverse hirings in the past year led them to believe the organization was making the necessary changes. That is true. Bringing in Ron Rivera, that man's no nonsense. I believe this man is kind of a stand-up guy, a 100% true kind of gentleman man, will never do anything wrong. If Ron Rivera ever does anything wrong, I'm not believing it, folks, surely. So, that's kind of what we were saying. Ron Rivera battling cancer, and then all the distractions going on in the front office, he was still leading this team to the division championships. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. So that's why we're, once again, very big on Ron Rivera. All right, Janet Nova, Deputy General Counsel for Media in the League Business Affairs, said Snyder's decision to step away from day-to-day duties through the fall was a voluntary move. Yeah, I'm sure it was very voluntary. As in, hey, the NFL is like, hey, you can do this, or you're going to get forced out. We will force you out. And Dan Snyder was like, all right, I will voluntarily do this. Come on, folks. The team has been under the independent investigation since July 2020. That's when we started talking about it. That's when all the stories were coming out, folks. July 2020, July 2nd, 2021, today, folks. All right, stemming from a number of sexual harassment allegations by previous employees over a 15-year period that were detailed by the Washington Post last summer. If you can find that article that you don't have to kind of pay for, I would definitely recommend reading it. There are text messages, there are concrete evidence that back up everything that that is truly going on. What was going on in the Washington organization, folks? It's a good read. Wilkinson interviewed more than 150 people, mostly current or former employees of the organization, many of whom were granted anonymity. Dan Snyder had released those who spoke with Wilkinson from any confidentiality agreement that they had signed with the organization. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, quote, concludes that for many years, the workplace environment at the Washington football team, both generally and particularly for women, was highly unprofessional. Bullying and intimidation frequently took place, and many described the culture as one of fear, and numerous female employees reported having experienced sexual harassment and a general lack of respect in the workplace, in the NFL said in its statement. The league concluded the team's ownership and senior management paid little or no attention to those issues. In some instances, senior executives engaged in inappropriate conduct themselves, including use of demeaning language and public embarrassment. This was another thing that pops up in my mind when I'm looking at this public embarrassment. This was kind of a male in the front office. He said that he was a former cheerleader, and everybody in the office made him do cartwheels because he came out and said that. So once again, kind of, this is what was truly going on here. If you're not one of the upper echelon people, they were kind of, bullying and intimidating and public embarrassment of anybody. Yes, a lot of females, but this was still happening with men as well. Making a former male cheerleader do cartwheels in the office, folks. It was absolutely wild. This set the tone for the organization and led to the key executives believing that disrespectful behavior and more serious misconduct was acceptable in the workplace. And once again, Dan Snyder was making this acceptable. Maybe not 100% by himself, but the people that he was putting in charge right under him that was, once again, letting this facilitate in the workplace. Wilkinson made a series of 10 recommendations for the Washington franchise going forward. All right, what is his 10 recommendations? One should be fire Dan Snyder, make him sell the team. How about we start with that? All right, number 1, develop a formal protocol for reporting allegations of harassment and misconduct. That wasn't already in place. What? Every business has like a HR department, a good one. As we said in this article, they had a bad one, but all right, that's the first thing. 2, develop a disciplinary action plan. 3, conduct anonymous workplace culture and sexual harassment surveys. Oh, that's going to get it done. Hire a third party. Yes, a third party. Let's hire a third party and not let the NFL appoint their own people, because they'll always side with the NFL, folks. Whoever is signing the check for you to be there, you're going to kind of favor their side a little bit because they're the one providing you the money. So yes, let's hire a third party to provide regular training for all employees on bullying, sexual harassment, and other workplace conduct issues. And also, let's hire a third party to investigate all this nonsense. Increase the number of women and minority employees throughout the organization. Okay, this, all right. Once again, we have to be in a world where, ethnicity, male or female, it doesn't matter. Just hire the right person for the job. And I know that's hard to say because there's always going to be, bias in people's minds. But we have to get to this place where everybody's on the same level and you're just hiring the perfect people for the job. Having to mandatory hire women and minorities and all this, it just really waters down what actually should be happening. So I don't love that. I get it, but I don't love it. There shouldn't be any discrimination anyway in anybody's mind. That's always wild to me. But always just hire the right person for the job, man, truly. And I know corruption at the top, and it affects everything down, and I get all that. But we really just have to come to a place where everybody's on the same level, and people have to start having that mindset. All right. Number 6, implement a clear organizational structure with clear lines of authority. 7, expand and empower the organization's in-house human resources and legal departments. Yeah, how about that's number 1, first of all, so we don't have this again. You're making that number 7? Okay. Number 8, create a formal onboarding process for new hires and a program for regular performance reviews and exit interviews for departing employees. Y'all didn't have that already? That's literally, business 101. Number 9, assign an HR employee to the cheerleading squad or co-ed dance team. And that's funny right there because they got rid of the cheerleading squad when that kind of article came out and made it a co-ed dance team. So yes, have an HR for that, because that was, folks, if you were either going to read the article about the cheerleaders or the front office, I would definitely read the one about the cheerleaders, because if you want to kind of, go into like, I'm not saying they did this, but if you kind of want to, if you're interested in like human trafficking, just all the information, not actually doing it. If you're interested in like the information of human trafficking and like Jeffrey Epstein and all that, I would definitely recommend that cheerleading article because it's that wild, folks. And then number 10, retain an independent consultant to conduct an annual assessment of employment policies. All right, last couple paragraphs here. Here we go. The franchise is required to report its progress to the league office in implementing each of these recommendations. So Tanya Snyder has to, report all these. I'm sure. I wonder what she's going to say. The first report is due by July 31st. Hey, are you making good headway? Yes? Okay. Come back to us. Sorry, 2 months from now. All right. The franchise also must report the results of the surveys and all complaints, including from exit interviews to the league office. Now, are those going to be made public? Because if they're not, does it even matter? Then we're all going to have, inside payments. Hey, another $10 million, please. It's like, can we make everything public? Can we be transparent? Everyone loves to brag about transparency. Oh my God, look how transparent we are. Of the stuff that you're transparent about. What about the 90% that is not transparent? Oh, but we are transparent. Look at this transparent. Look at the 10% transparent. No, what's the back? What's in the back room? I want to know what's in that. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, why? Everyone loves to be transparent until transparent comes up, and then everyone's not transparent, folks. All right, quote, I agree with the commissioner's decision in this matter and am committed to implementing his investigation's important recommendations, Dan Snyder said, that he's once again going to pass down to Tanya Snyder. In February, the team reached a settlement. The team reached a settlement with its former cheerleaders who appeared in lewd videos made without their knowledge. I love how this is at the very end of the article when everyone was done reading by the 10 garbage goals that they were putting forward. How classic of an article, no? This is why we're reading it. This is why we're bringing it up. Damn. In February, the team reached a settlement with its former cheerleaders who appeared in lewd videos made without their knowledge during the swimsuit calendar photo shoot in 2008 and 2010. That's the one where they went to like this separate country and they took away their passports and said, you really can't leave, we have your passports. Folks, I'm telling you, it was that crazy. We have a video on it. Go watch it. It's the first one, Washington Scandal Part 1 or something like that. Number 2 is in the front office, but the first video is about the cheerleaders, and it's crazy. All right. Where did we leave off? Here we go. The franchise also announced that it had paused its cheerleader program amid its rebranding. Once again, they stopped the cheerleading program when the article came out and made it a co-ed dance team. But the move was not tied to the investigation. Oh, okay, yeah. It wasn't tied to the investigation. Okay. It's just a coincidence that these people didn't have their passports and they were in lewd videos made without their consent. Oh, but that was something different. That was just something that we wanted to do. Okay. It was right at the same time. It's real coincidental that this stuff was happening 2000, 2008, and 2010. And then it comes out in 2020, and now you're like, okay, now let's change it. Okay, classic. Once again, nobody taking responsibility. We can all just make excuses. Oh, that wasn't tied to the investigation. No, it wasn't. We just did it. Because every team has co-ed dance teams instead of cheerleaders, right? Come on. The moves the franchise has made to improve its culture over the past 18 months, including hiring Rivera as head coach. And I hate that kind of Ron Rivera kind of got this job just because he's a good guy. Oh, he's a good guy. He's a good face of this team. Let's hire him. He made it work, so I give him credit. And we're big fans of Ron Rivera. This is not a bashing at all of Ron Rivera. We are big on that man. So the moves the franchise has made to improve its culture over the past 18 months, including hiring Ron Rivera as the head coach, Wright as the NFL's first black team president, and Julie Donaldson as the senior vice president of media and the first woman to be part of an NFL team's radio broadcast. The NFL also said that Petra Pope has replaced the all-female cheerleading squad with, quote, an inclusive, co-ed, diverse, athletic dance team, and that the team will no longer pose for calendars. Oh my God, that was the photo shoot in a foreign country, folks. The swimsuit calendar. But once again, that had nothing to do with the investigation. How clownish, folks. How truly clownish is this? Last paragraph, quote, over the past 18 months, Dan and Tanya have recognized the need for change because the NFL was forcing it. They recognized the need for change and have undertaken important steps to make the workplace comfortable and dignified for all employees. And those changes, if sustained and built upon, should allow the club to achieve its goal of having a truly first-tier workplace. I truly appreciate, this is Roger Goodell saying this, by the way, I truly appreciate their commitment to fully implement each of the below 10 recommendations. Those recommendations are the most baseline things I've ever seen. I truly appreciate their commitment to fully implement each of the below 10 recommendations, but the league also must ensure accountability. Oh my God, yeah, because you really got them with the accountability of $10 million fine and hiring your wife. Must ensure accountability for past deficiencies and for living up to current and future commitments, Goodell said in the statement. So, once again, folks, everything's swept under the rug. They hid that one nugget of information of the cheerleading scandal in it, and then basically said this had nothing to do with that. Hid it right at the very end. So, once again, folks, this is just classic garbage, protection of the brand, protection of the NFL, and this is what we get, folks. So please, when people are harping on you, hey, do the right things. Okay, I'll do the right things when people at the top start doing the right things. How about that? Alrighty, and then let's get this statement from Dan Snyder, and then we're going to go into the article by the Washington Post about the article about ESPN that they released, and kind of how it's all nonsense. So let's read the statement from Dan Snyder himself. Quote, I have learned a lot in the past few months about my club. Some of this is repeat. I'll try to go through this quickly, but I believe most of this is new. I think this first paragraph was what in the article, but here we go. I have learned a lot in the past few months about how my club operated in the kind of workplace that we had. It is now clear that the culture was not what it should be, but I did not realize the extent of the problem or my role in allowing that culture to develop and continue. And I know that as the owner, I am ultimately responsible for the workplace. I have said that, and I say it again. I feel great remorse for the people who had difficult, even traumatic experiences while working here. I am truly sorry for that. I can't turn back the clock, but I promise that nobody who works here will ever have that kind of experience again, at least not as long as Tanya and I are the owners of this team. Over the last 18 months, we have made a lot of changes. We have a new and diverse leadership team, a comprehensive program of training, culture surveys, and employee support that we were mandated to do by Roger Goodell himself, and a commitment to ensuring that every employee of the Washington Football Club comes to a professional and respectful workplace every day. And while there has been real progress, we are not finished. There's been progress, but we are not finished. And we'll continue to improve each and every way that we can. I appreciate the people who came forward. Oh, do you? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you're going to have them whacked. I appreciate the people who came forward because now we know who you are and we can come after you. I appreciate the people who came forward and intend fully to implement all of the recommendations coming out of this investigation. Going forward, my focus will be on making the Washington football team a source of pride to all of its employees, fans, partners, including my partners in the NFL. I agree with the commissioner's decision. Oh, do you? You were forced to agree. I agree with the commissioner's decision in this matter and am committed to implementing his investigation's important recommendations. Oh my God, so important. Tanya will assume the responsibilities of CEO and will oversee all day-to-day team operations and represent the club on all league activities. I will concentrate my time during the next several months on developing a new stadium plan and other matters. The man's focusing on a new stadium now. That's his punishment. You get to focus on the new stadium. Tanya and I are grateful and truly blessed that we didn't get kicked out of the great sanctuary of the NFL owners. Tanya and I are grateful and truly blessed to lead such a wonderful organization that has always stood for excellence in winning. Well, that's just bullshit. When was the last time they won? Okay, so you're not even doing that. We look forward to focusing on the team's community building and charitable efforts and are confident that with Coach Ron Rivera and Team President Jason Wright, we have an outstanding management who will implement real change and bring a Super Bowl championship back to our nation's capital. Ron Rivera will do that, absolutely. All right, so that was his official response. Classic garbage nonsense. So now let's go to this article here written by the Washington Post by Sally Jenkins and kind of what she's saying about the ESPN article here. So let's go through this now. Here we go. The so-called investigative report on the nasty skirt-clutching culture inside the Washington football team has vanished like invisible ink. Thank you. Somebody calling it out like it is, folks. Have you, I want to hear y'all. Have y'all ever heard of anything that was happening in Washington? Last year, this year? No, you didn't, because nobody covered it, because it got swept right under the rug. It truly disappeared like invisible ink, truly. But back to the article. Here we go. And somehow the NFL thinks it can make it all right by handing Tanya Snyder the mop and broom? Great. That's the perfect NFL solution, isn't it? Just to turn to the wife and say, here, you clean it up. I mean, truly. How funny is that? You have, a hostile working place environment from women, and then you use women to go and clean it up. Here, you clean up my mess. How funny. Nothing against Mrs. Snyder, who is sure to do a far more professional job overseeing the business operation of the Washington football team than the twerp who has run it like a beer-slopping stag party these past 20-some years. But what do they take us for, really? As you read the NFL statement on its months-long investigation of Daniel Snyder's cesspool of an office, and you can almost feel Commissioner Roger Goodell and his legal eagles admiring their soft shoe work as they step around the sleaze puddles. I mean, folks, they never even said anything in that article about truly what was going on. So they didn't want that in so you don't go back to last year's articles in the Washington Post on what was actually going on. That's what we're saying. Not a single allegation against Snyder himself was addressed. Folks, that's what we were saying, folks, right there. This is why we're talking about it today. We won't. Takes My fans won't let Washington and Roger Goodell get away with it. We point everything out into the limelight here. Not a single allegation against Snyder himself was addressed. No written report will be issued. And that's the biggest thing. No, we don't get the report. Why don't we get it? Let us be the jury. But you can't have that in the media. CTE and sexual allegations, the NFL will not let it come out to light because it will ruin their business. No written report will be issued, and no one is truly penalized, except, of course, the women who were peeping Tomid and pimped to sponsors. They were used as escorts, folks. It's wild. I'm telling y'all, you need to go and read that cheerleader article because it will blow your mind. They literally held them captive. They took away their passports in a foreign country and said, yeah, you can't really leave. You got to be the escorts here. It's truly crazy. I can't overstate how crazy it is enough, folks. All right, the perps, some of them, such as Larry Michael, got to retire. The main culprit was allowed to profess ignorance from the distance of a super yacht and pay a $10 million fine that amounts to slot machine money for him. Quote, I have learned a lot in the last few months about how my club operated, said the sneeringly disingenuous Snyder, who was alleged to have committed an act of sexual misconduct against an employee on a team plane for which the team reached a $1.6 million settlement. So just think of the numbers here, folks. $10 million for that entire investigation over the last 20 years, and then one lone instance of a $1.6 million settlement. Folks, are these numbers lining up at all, even close? I'm not no, it's not. The NFL's 29-paragraph statement that we just read, the NFL's 29-paragraph statement goes on interminably without disclosing a single germane fact or finding. Independent counsel Beth Wilkinson, what has she been doing over the past years? There's nothing on paper. There is no evidence. There are no conclusions. The NFL's account of her report is like a spirograph in which everything circles into a single invisible point. That's truly, yeah. We read it, folks. Was there anything of substance in that? Quote, Wilkinson was not specifically tasked with confirming or rejecting any particular allegation of inappropriate conduct. The league wrote blithely in the opening of a statement that seeks to conclude the whole matter without coming to a single conclusion. Exactly. You're not going to have this Wilkinson fined, or she's not going to confirm or reject anything. So what was she doing? Oh, okay, there's allegations. All right, let's go to boilerplate stuff. Have a good HR department. Let's have surveys. Let's have, progress reports made to the league. All right, we're out of here. Oh, yeah, we don't care if it's true or false. We look good in the media. We look good in the media. Hey, Washington, they're taking some diverse training. Pretty good, huh? $10 million fine. Pretty good, huh? Look what I did. Not confirming or denying anything. All right. It turns out that Wilkinson's job was to conduct an investigation in which nothing was to be specifically investigated. Yeah, don't look behind here. Because once again, she's hired by the NFL. The NFL doesn't want dirt dug up. She doesn't want her raking the muck. She doesn't want her to be a muckraker. It turns out that Wilkinson's job was to conduct an investigation in which nothing was to be specifically investigated. No conclusions were to be reached about any allegations that she was charged with investigating, because it was not her job to determine whether any, quote, particularly allegation of inappropriate conduct was true. It was not her job to investigate, as it turned out, any actual people. It was the building that did it, the walls. It was the staircase that peered up the dresses of the young female employees. Quote, Beth wasn't tasked with making recommendations about what should be done in terms of accountability by any individual person, said Lisa Frail of the NFL Special Counsel for Investigations. It was the carpet that did it. It was the rug that made daily rude comments to female executives in front of clients. It was the cameras, unoperated by human hand, that took lewd videos of cheerleaders without their permission and shared the good bits of their nipples and groins with unnamed team executives. The NFL statement goes on, bland and imprecious, with the fact-dulling sentence after sentence, summing up meaningless generalities while absolving any actual human of responsibility. I'm agreeing exactly what she just said in that paragraph. Fact-dulling sentence after sentence, summing up meaningless generalities while absolving any actual humans of responsibility. That is it to 100% T, folks. We literally read the entire article there. That was what the NFL put out. Quote, numerous female employees reported having experienced sexual harassment and general lack of respect in the workplace, the statement said. Numerous? Numerous? That's in the article, folks. I know I say stuff like that, but that's how it is said in the article. Try 40. That's how many women came forward publicly, including Tiffany Bacon Scowbury, who accused Snyder of trying to pressure her to join a friend of his in a hotel room at a charity event. We're talking about charity. You getting sexually harassed at a charity event? That's what's going on in Washington, folks. It's not, hey, that you got an ass like a wagon. It's like, hey, we're feeding the homeless, but I'm trying to get you with my friend. What's up with that? Fuck the homeless. Get in the back of my car. Let's have some fun. Jeez. Then there was the young female executive who said, quote, it was like fresh meat to a pack of wolves every time a new pack of interns would come in. And of course, there were the scores of women who didn't come forward publicly, who chose to keep their accounts confidential, such as the employee who received the settlement following this episode in Snyder's plane. Snyder's vicious litigious is legendary. In his long campaign of legal intimidation over the course of the year, from private investigators contacting women to a blizzard of legal filings, appears to have worked. It scared Goodell and the league lawyers into this ludicrous soft shoe performance. All you can hear in this supposed final report is the hissing of smooth shoe leather over plush executive suit carpet. You will never know any specifics, never know the full truth. There will never be any assessment of personal responsibility. Instead, there is just 29 paragraphs of perfect non-descriptiveness, a vague humdrumming about toxic culture, all of which has the distant sound of a hush-up. All as for the dirt under the carpet, well, that's for Miss Snyder to clean up. So, nobody's taking responsibility. Nobody's being held accountable. Everything's getting swept under the rug. Nobody's talking about it. And that's what's going on in the NFL in Washington, folks. So, Obviously not great. We'll never know the full truth. I highly, highly encourage you to read the Washington Post articles, because that is the most information, the most concrete information that we will ever get on what truly went down during that Washington organization period with Dan Snyder at the helm, folks. It's truly crazy. And, I'm sure other teams are doing this, maybe not to the extent, maybe even worse. We don't know. We'll never know. We will never know the truth about anything. And that's why I try to bring this stuff up, because I want to get to, everything makes big headlines. Everything's shock. Oh my God, Washington's paying a $10 million lawsuit. Wow. Why? If you just read this article, you would have no clue, no inkling of a clue of what actually was happening. But we have all these firsthand accounts, we have the text messages, and we have those cheerleader stories. So go read those to try to really get. I'm gonna try to find those articles and link it in the description of this video, because you truly got to read it. It's crazy. It's crazy, folks. It's crazy. But that's the Washington story, folks. So if you heard about it, great. If you didn't, which I'm sure most of y'all didn't, this is something to kind of ponder. So we'll move off of that. We just spent 50 minutes on it. Jeez. But folks, somebody's got to talk about it. I guess it's our duty here. It's our duty. It takes my fans. All right. Let's move on. Let's see what we can fit in today, what we have to say for tomorrow. But let's go to this. Hard Knocks, baby. The Dallas Cowboys are expected to be selected to appear on this season's 5-episode series of HBO's Hard Knocks. Absolutely great, folks. I love this. Dallas Cowboys, big name, America's team. Yes, sir. And why I'm truly interested, yes, we get to see Dak and what he can do from that injury, but now we can focus on the coaching of Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn. Can they coach, folks? Let's see what their coaching style's like. Let's see what they're like. We're obviously not going to get the full look, because, they'll cut some things out and they're always going to be on their best behavior. I always love bringing up the story that, former Packers players were saying when Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Packers. We're like, yeah, Mike McCarthy would just be getting massages in his office during practice time. So obviously he's going to be on his best behavior. He's going to send the masseuses all home for this Hard Knocks. So we're not going to get the real insight, but let's see what they're saying. What is their motivation technique? What are they saying when they're doing drills? Is it all just kind of, Jason Garrett on the sideline clapping, everyone makes fun of him for that? Or is it really kind of getting down to the nitty gritty, getting into these players and truly coaching them up? So, yes, we get to see Dak, but what I'm going to be really focusing on when we watch this Dallas Cowboys during this Hard Knocks is going to be the coaching. Because I don't buy Mike McCarthy as a head coach, and I definitely don't buy Dan Quinn as a good defensive coordinator. So I'm going to be watching hard on that, and then, we'll get a good insight, and that will kind of help us judge as we get closer to the NFL season. Can we truly buy this Cowboys team overall? They've got a great, talented offensive roster. I'm not denying that. But the coaching, you need coaching in this league, and definitely that defense was the worst thing about them last season, and we'll see if Dan Quinn can kind of fix that for this season coming up. So we get to see Dak, we get to see Zeke, we get to see who's their second year wide receiver? CeeDee Lamb, all great. Amari Cooper, absolutely fantastic. We get to see Semi Fehoko. Oh my God, we're big on him, folks. He's kind of my hidden gem in this year's draft. 5th round pick, I believe, down to the Dallas Cowboys. We get to see him work out. So I'm big on watching this Dallas team in Hard Knocks. I'm going to be focusing on Semi Fehoko, Mike McCarthy, and Dan Quinn. Those are going to be my 3 big focuses here for Hard Knocks this season. I believe it starts August something. Let me go here. I can bring it up really quickly. Adam Schefter tweeted it out. I didn't like it. I didn't need 2 Hard Knocks tweets, but here we go. It starts August 10th at 10 p.m. Tuesday. So obviously next month, pretty solid. And we'll get to see the insides of what is going on during this Dallas Cowboys practice. Semi Fehoko, truly show out here, man. I want to see you get it done, and I want to see you try to get into this stacked offensive roster here. Try to get some work done here. Let's bring up the Cowboys depth chart, because he's kind of number 5, honestly, just coming in because they've got so many great, talented wide receivers already. So here we go. The wide receivers for the Cowboys: Amari Cooper 1, Michael Gallup 2, CeeDee Lamb 3. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's number 3 on an offense. Jeez. And then we got Cedric Wilson, Semi Fioco. So yeah, Semi, try to get number 4, folks. Try to get number 4, Semi. I want to see you in the league. I want to see you get it done. I want to see you have a couple 100 yards this year, a couple of touchdowns. Make your name known. You can definitely do it. And I loved what we saw from you in college. So we'll see if Semi Fioco can try to work his way up here into the starting 3 or try to just be that number 4. Because number 5, not really going to get that many PT. All right, so that's the Cowboys. Let's keep moving on here. All right, here we go. With the turning of the calendar to July, a reminder that July 15th is the deadline for teams to extend franchise tag players. Now, the 7 players franchise tagged are Cam Robinson, Taylor Moton, Marcus Williams, Marcus May, Brendan Sheaf, Chris Godwin, and Allen Robinson. And the only reason I want to bring up this story is because Allen Robinson deserves to be paid. Paid now. Don't push it off to next season. He suffered with Mitch Trubisky. It made him look good. He's the only reason why Mitch Trubisky was even decent in this league. It was all because of Allen Robinson himself. So get this man paid. We'll see if he does. July 15th. Don't want to see him tagged. Get paid now. He deserves it. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, what else do we get here? We get a nice little clip here of Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball. We haven't really seen any Trevor Lawrence all season long so far during the OTAs and the minicamp. So he's working out with his wide receiver Tim Jones, tight end Luke Farrell, and wide receiver Jalen Campen. It's just a nice little 15-second. He makes 3 throws here. One is a nice little kind of out route to the left sideline, makes it absolutely perfectly. This one's down the middle of the field, leading the receiver a little bit more inside. And then we just got a deep little fade here. Absolutely great rainbow floater, looks absolutely on the money. Can't count the yards here just because of how the video is shot. But let's watch this rainbow floater one more time. It's absolutely great. Obviously, no pads, no defense, wide open. I get it, folks. But still, it's looking pretty solid out here. And we know Trevor Lawrence is going to be the starting quarterback here. That nonsense that the offensive coordinator was saying that, it's truly kind of, too early to call. And it's kind of, an open quarterback competition between Gardner Minshew and Trevor Lawrence. That's the biggest nonsense I've ever heard, folks. So Trevor Lawrence looking really good out here. Obviously, we have a couple more weeks till training camp truly gets into the thick of it, where we'll get a lot more information, stories, clips coming out. But so far, we just have to, pick up the crumbs of what we can see. And we're buying Trevor Lawrence like we have been. He's number 1 on our big board at quarterback position. We know he's going to work out. He will kind of be. Now, is he going to kind of be like Joe Burrow and Tua, or is he going to be like Justin Herbert year 1? Because Justin Herbert was absolutely magnificent, folks. Big difference between Joe Burrow and what Tua were doing compared to Justin Herbert. So we'll see how Trevor Lawrence plays out year 1. Is he more like a record-setting rookie year Justin Herbert, or kind of, let's see year 2, get warmed up year 1, and Tua and Joe Burrow. Alrighty, let's move, talk about the Lions. Now, we may be able to start buying this Lions team a little bit. Everything that's come out about this Lions team so far has just been absolutely nonsense, and we've been kind of falling on this Lions team. But we get a quote here, and we'll see what we get. So, running back Jamal Williams embraces a new beginning in Detroit alongside DeAndre Swift. So, the running game here for Detroit could be really solid, running back by committee here between Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. Now, DeAndre Swift was the rookie that they got last year who was he was all right. He was kind of getting better as the season progressed. Let's go to his game logs. He had 116 yards week 6, and then he followed that up with 27-1. But then at the last 8 weeks of the season, he racked up 64 yards rushing, 81 yards rushing. He was inactive for 3 straight games, came back to 24 yards, but then finished off the season, the final 3 games, 67 yards and 2 touchdowns, 45 yards, and then 54 yards and a touchdown. So he kind of, was being a little consistent at the end of the season, really kind of woeful his first couple of 8 games. I mean, to start out the season, 3 carries for 8 yards, 5 carries for 12 yards, no carries against Arizona, 4 carries for 22 yards. Then he hit it big, 14 carries for 116 yards. And then, like we said, he went back down to 27 and 1 yard after that. But the final kind of back half of the season, he was truly kind of decently getting it done. And he can also kind of, catch out of the backfield as well. He put up 357 receiving yards as well as 500 rushing yards throughout his rookie season. So it wasn't bad overall. And then when we talk about Jamal Williams, he was always kind of the number 2 running back with Aaron Jones in Green Bay. And he was a solid number 2 here, putting up about 500 yards every single year. Rookie year, 556 yards, 4 touchdowns, 464 yards the year after that, 460 yards the year after that, and then 505 yards last season. But like I said, he was always the number 2 down to Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones just ran for 1,000 yards plus the last 2 years. So, we can kind of, give him 500 yards these last 2 seasons, being the number 2 here. So, solid running backs here by Detroit, and they're definitely going to need it. They brought in they bring in Penei Sewell, tackle to beef up the line a little bit. Definitely kind of want to be a run-heavier offense with Jared Goff as the quarterback, as you're kind of building your team for Dan Quinn, year 1 as a head coach here. So we'll see what this running back duo can do here for the Lions. But let's go into this article and let's see if we get any kind of promising quotes. Can we start buying this Lions team a little bit? Because we kind of have this Lions team as kind of the 32nd best, the very last team in the league. So let's see what we get here. Entering his first year with the Lions, running back Jamal Williams sees himself as an appropriate fit. Quote, "I see this as just a new beginning, a new time for me to just be able to show my talents and show my abilities and everything I've just been working on this whole season. I always know that I can always work on something to get better and find something that I can improve or find something new." So that's great. Wanting to get better. Kind of, setting this up as kind of a new beginning. All right, I was solid as a number 2. I have a chance to be the number 1. DeAndre Swift is not kind of an proven number 1. So this is going to be kind of an open camp of who's going to be really kind of running back 2, but really kind of expect the season to kind of get a heavy workload between both of these running backs, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. All right, anything else here? I want to kind of hear about the coaching style. We haven't really been hearing anything about that. Whenever we bring up articles here, it's always like, I'm feeling good, wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, whatever it is. They're always like, I'm feeling good here. The scheme's good, but the coaching, you feel the energy here. You feel the locker room, all that. We haven't gotten that yet from Jamal Williams, and that's kind of why we wanted to bring up this article. Yeah, we want to kind of highlight these running backs and see what they can do, but I also want to get an inside look on the organization. Can we buy Dan Campbell as head coach? Because the last time we talked about Dan Campbell as head coach, he had the race car helmet on, folks. We couldn't hear him because he was wearing the freaking helmet the entire press conference and practice. So that was the last time we heard about Dan Quinn. We haven't heard about him since. So that's why we're trying to go in this article here. But let's continue here. We got 2, 3 more quotes maybe. So let's go. Jamal Williams signed a 2-year deal worth up to $7.5 million in March and did so with the expectation of having a similar number 2 role alongside second-year running back DeAndre Swift. Quote, "I'm just grateful for the coaches, the GM, and everybody for just giving me an opportunity. And that's all I ever really wanted, was just an opportunity to be able to show my abilities. Now I get to do that in a new offense by being able to get my running backs coach Deuce Stanley and Anthony Lynn as the offense coordinator." Now, that's good. Anthony Lynn, the ex-head coach for the Chargers, ended up getting fired this year, is now the offensive coordinator here for the Lions. So that could definitely help out a little bit. I was a decent fan of Anthony Lynn. He wasn't great. I don't think he was awful. Like I said, a little mediocre. The biggest knock against him, he couldn't close out games. So that's we'll see if it's all on him, if it was just kind of a little bit of a curse there overall in the Chargers. But we'll see what Anthony Lynn can do here as the offense coordinator. Back to the quote. It just feels good. Then with the head coach biting kneecaps and stuff. So once again, that's not what I don't want my head coach doing that. I don't want my head coach being fired up down the sideline. That needs a place on the sideline. I'm not saying you need somebody to motivate the team. That's where Dan Quinn, a former tight ends coach, Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, that's who I want. My head coach, I want, some decent, fist pumps and, attaboy. And yeah, and getting excited and running decently, but not the way that Dan Quinn does it. The one that he's going to literally run over the ref on the sideline, knock over his entire team, and just start yelling for no reason, wearing NASCAR helmets on the sideline. That's not what I truly want. It does have a place on the sideline. I don't kind of want that as my head coach. But back to the quote. Then with the head coach biting kneecaps and stuff, you know what I mean? This is like, it's feeling real youthful in this boy. All right. Once again, we kind of been hearing a lot about, football is, it's the same game, in the NFL as it was in Pop Warner. It's, the same kind of, mindset and all that. So I get it, I guess. All right. Deuce Staley, who enters his first season with the Lions as running backs coach, likes what he sees out of Williams so far and describes the 26-year-old as someone who could also be beneficial to the progression of Swift. Absolutely. Quote here by Deuce Staley. You start with his leadership on and off the field, especially in the classroom. He brings that presence and that leadership to a running back who has played the game brings. When you get out on the field, you look at his work ethic. This guy is out there working. He's staying after. He's asking questions. He's catching balls. He's going through footwork. It's a pleasure to have him. So once again, that's great for DeAndre Swift. We kind of saw him stumble kind of mightily the first couple weeks. He kind of had the big kind of the biggest knock on DeAndre Swift was like the end of the game. I don't think it was in overtime, but at like the end of the fourth quarter where the Lions had a chance to win the game, DeAndre Swift just drops a wide open ball. And they lose the game because of that, very, very close. And then they kind of, he never really got it done. But then, like we said, at the back end of the season, that's really when he started to pick up the pace a little bit. So now you bring in Jamal Williams, a nice veteran in this league. He's been in this league 4 years. He's been the number 2. He's been the backup, so he can kind of, use all these experiences to kind of push Swift a little bit more and challenge him for the number 1 running back spot. So I love that. And then the last quote here. By Jamal Williams, quote, I feel like with our players and my teammates and everybody just want to get out of this slump. We've just got to start new. Then at the same time, we've got to have a new mindset of how we're going to do things around here. We're just going to be focused and sacrifice for the team. The more you sacrifice for the team, the more the team will flourish. It's just part of me learning it at the same time. It's really just comes with a lot of team chemistry, and that's what we're getting on. I'm having fun with it. I love all my teammates. These boys are funny, and at the same time, we're working hard. And a lot of new people here. Dan Quinn, obviously. We got, Anthony Lynn new here. Deuce Staley new here. Jamal Williams new here. So Jared Goff, if I said that, I'm saying it again. So there's a lot of new important pieces here in Detroit, so it's not all going to fall on Dan Campbell, but at the same time, Dan Campbell is the one that kind of sets the tone for everybody. So we'll see how this kind of team works. We'll know a lot more come training camp at the end of July, but for so far, we're I don't know if this really moved the scale for us on Detroit a little bit. So we'll see what Jamal Adams brings to this team, and we'll see how the offense is cooking a little bit. But I still think we're not big on. We're still very not big on this Lions team. Alrighty, let's keep going here. Here we go. Ranking all 32 running back ones heading into 2021. Now, I have not previewed this. We're going to kind of talk through, we're only going to talk through the top 5, what we think the top 5 are, and then we'll go in the article and just kind of see what they're saying around the NFL. They published this article, and let's kind of see, do we agree, do we disagree, how much do we disagree, where do we kind of value running backs compared to kind of, professional writers in this league that have paid jobs. So let's see what we get, and let's do our top 5 before we go into the article here. We have we have all starting running backs here listed, so we can go through and name what we see and see what we name. So obviously number 1, no question. Folks, if you don't know who our number 1 running back is by now, I don't know what to tell you. We try to talk about him every day on the show. I would love to do an hour show of that man every single day. But number 1 is obviously Derrick Henry. Obviously, he's the best running back in the league. He will break the season rushing record of 2,100 yards. He will go down as the greatest quarterback or greatest running back of all time. And he's only had really kind of 3 full starting seasons. So Derrick Henry is number 1, and if he's not number 1 on this list from around the NFL, we cannot even. We can't even take that. We can't even trust them. We can't even trust them. We'll exit the article immediately and we'll stop the segment short. If they do not have Derrick Henry 1, I do not agree that anybody that says that he's not the best running back in the league. He's big. He's powerful. He gets it done. He's the workhorse. Nobody else does that in this league. Nobody else does that in this league. Even come close to doing that in this league. So Derrick Henry, absolutely amazing. He's the number 1 running back. All right, now what we're talking about number 2. I know Dalvin Cook is a popular choice. Nick Chubb is really good here for the Browns. J.K. Dobbins is good. He's about top 10. I would say J.K. Dobbins is about top 10 in this league. Devin Singletary is not even top 15. Myles Gaskin for the Dolphins is not top 15, not even really top 20. But J.K. Dobbins is probably about top 15. Nick Chubb is about top 10, easily top 7. I may even put him in my top 5. We'll see what else we get here. Kareem Hunt is definitely top 10, absolutely speedster there. Najee Harris, I'm gonna call him. He's going to be in my top 5, folks. Even as a rookie, we are big, folks. We are truly big on this man. If there is one person in this draft that will A1, Tier 1, get it done, year 1, rookie year, it's Najee Harris, folks. I am big on this man. He has the opportunity to do so, and he's got all the skill set. Like I said, he's kind of a mini Derrick Henry. Not as big, not as beefy, but can catch the ball fantastically and, is still big enough. I think he's like an inch or maybe 2 inches shorter. He's still kind of like the third or second biggest running back, tallest running back in this league. Who do I put number 2, though? Do I do Nick Chubb number 2? Let's put Nick Chubb number 2 so far. Real solid. Another kind of, big physical runner here by Nick Chubb. And I'm going to put Najee Harris number 3, folks. I'm all ready. I know I haven't even seen him playing in the league yet. I don't care. That's how big we are on him. Najee Harris, number 3. David Johnson, probably top 20. Phillip Lindsay, I would probably maybe top 20. He can probably sneak in the top 20. For the Colts, they got 3 good ones, folks. Jonathan Taylor, I'd put him in top 15. Naheem Hines, I put him in top 20. Marlon Mack, I put him in top 20. Travis Etienne for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Once again, a rookie running back. I'd probably put him in top 20 already. He's a very good speedster out here. Derrick Henry, we have number 1. Melvin Gordon, maybe 20, maybe back 20, 25-ish. Not the biggest Melvin Gordon buyer. He's solid. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'd put him in top 20. Solid. Josh Jacobs, very solid as well. He may be in top 5. We have 2 spots left. Austin Eckler, I am big on. I'd probably put him in top 15. Ezekiel Elliott, once again, probably top 10, maybe number 10, 9, 8, 7-ish. Oh, no. Okay, we got to start moving. Okay, here we go. This is who I was forgetting. Saquon Barkley. So I'm having Saquon Barkley number 2, and then we're just going to drop everybody else back 1. So Nick Chubb goes from 2 to 3. I'm this close to putting Najee Harris above Nick Chubb, but I'll give Nick Chubb the respect and put him at number 3. And I'm putting Najee Harris number 4. So we got one more spot. We got the 5th spot. Who are we going to put at number 5? Miles Sanders, probably top 20. I am a decent fan of what he can do. David Montgomery for the Bears, not even top 20. DeAndre Swift, not even top 25. Aaron Jones, okay. Potential for a top 5 here. Potential for that 5th seed. Dalvin Cook, once again, potential for that 5th seed as well. Christian McCaffrey, but he's kind of a dual threat. I don't know if I truly put him in the running back. I'm not going to put Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. They're kind of in the league of their own of great pass catching, also great running backs out of the backfield. So we'll see if they have Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara in the top 5 there. I'm kind of sticking strictly to pure runners. Christian McCaffrey, he'll catch for 1,000 yards. Alvin Kamara, he'll catch for 1,000 yards. They're great, don't get us wrong. But we're going to kind of go pure runner here. They could be in the top 5, though. Absolutely. They're great. They're great pass-catching running backs. Chase Edmonds for the Cardinals, not even in the top 20. Cam Akers, probably top 15-ish. Raheem Mostert, probably top 15-ish. Chris Carson, maybe top 20. But this 5th spot either goes to Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, maybe Josh Jacobs. I got to make a tough call here, and I'm going to disrespect Dalvin Cook a little bit, and I'm going to put Aaron Jones as number 5. Very close, though, between Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook. They're kind of the same running back, big, explosive runners. Hey, if you don't got anybody within 2 yards of the man, he's going to just outrun everybody else. So that's going to be our top 5. Derrick Henry 1. Saquon Barkley 2, Nick Chubb 3, Najee Harris 4, and Aaron Jones 5. So let's go back to this article here, and let's see what they're ranking. Do we agree? Do they agree with us? And then we'll just kind of talk about, because they ranked them all, so we'll just kind of talk about it through a little bit. So here we go. Number 1 is Derrick Henry. So they do have credits here. There is credit here. Derrick Henry, I can't even trust, like, I don't like to kind of, say my opinions and my takes are superior to anybody else's. I don't like to kind of say you should take whatever I say as the gospel. But the one thing that I cannot get on board with is saying that Derrick Henry is not the greatest rusher in this league right now. So this article does have some credit to it. This writer, who's this writer? Who's doing this one? Oh my God! Oh, an expert! Maurice Jones-Drew, folks! Absolutely fantastic! Oh my God! Now the pressure's on me to get this top 5 right, folks. This man's been in the league. Let's bring up his accolades. Maurice Jones-Drew. I didn't know he was working for around the NFL. Fantastic! Ex-Jaguars running back. Let's bring up his stats. How many times he rushed for 1,000 yards? 3 years in a row, folks. 1,300, 1,600. Led the league in 2011. That's what we're talking about. Leading the league in rushing in 2011 with 1,600 yards. Fantastic. Never cracked 2,000 like Derrick Henry. That's all I'm going to say on that. But, definitely a solid runner out here. He knows running. That didn't get it brought up in that window. So if you all didn't see that, it wasn't anything. I was just kind of speaking it out. Why did this all get big? Let me exit here. Article just kind of increased. All right, here we go. So Maurice Jones-Drew is kind of rocking the top 5 here, folks, and he agrees with our number 1. So now I'm kind of nervous to see what he does with number 2, because this is, this is a professional here, folks. He knows the game, on the field game. All right, here we go. Let's see what he does for number 2. Well, let's see what he does. Let's see what he says about Derrick Henry first. Do I really need to make a case for why Derrick Henry deserves to hold the top spot? King Henry is the reigning offensive player of the year after rushing for 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns. He's one of the main reasons why the Titans won the AFC South for the first time since 2008. Henry is the cream of the crop. Cream of the mother-loving crop. He's the cream of the crop, folks. Double creaming. All right, number 2 now from Maurice Jones-Drew. He says number 2 running back in the league is Christian McCaffrey. Okay, I can understand this. I get it. We just held Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara out just because they're kind of, little cheaters out here. They run the ball great. Don't get us wrong, but they also catch the ball great. Let's see what Christian McCaffrey was doing. Just kind of running wise. I think he does break 1,000 yards still, which is fantastic. And then I think he also almost maybe breaks 1,000 yards receiving as well. Has he done that? Let's bring it up. 1,300, oh my folks, I mean, it's great. 1,300 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards in 2019. As we said, as we know, he got injured 2020. 2018, 1,000 yards receiving, 800 yards 1,000 yards rushing, 800 yards receiving. So I get it, Christian McCaffrey. I was just kind of focusing on pure rushers, but I definitely agree with that. All right, so number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. Number 3 is Alvin Kamara. So once again, he has both of those in the top 3. I get it, folks. Let's bring up what Alvin Kamara does. Has he ever done 1,000 and 1,000? I don't know if Alvin Kamara has ever rushed for 1,000 yards. I think he's gotten close. I think he had 900 last season. 900 last season rushing, 756 receiving. So once again, kind of splitting. But with Derrick Henry, we get the full 2,000 right on the ground, folks. Right on the ground. Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, they need the 2,000, both catching and receiving. So, alrighty. We're going to take these 2 out, and then whatever number 4, 5, and 6 will be, that's going to be kind of our number 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we have to go down to 7. So, we get it, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara. So now, whatever his number 4 is going to be our number 2. So, here we go. Now, this is where the pressure's on. Does Maurice Jones-Drew agree with us? Here we go. Number 2 running back in the league, Dalvin Cook. Okay, I get it. Dalvin Cook's great. I don't know if he's kind of exiting Saquon Barkley out. We'll see what his reasoning is, whatever he puts Saquon Barkley is. Because if it's just because he was injured last season, I get it, but I still like Saquon Barkley. But for Dalvin Cook, he says Cook has continued, and what did he do last season? 1,500 rushing yards. It's great, don't get us wrong. I just don't think it's impactful. Like I said, this Vikings team is in this weird limbo. Like, they're nothing great, nothing bad. Everything on paper, their stats-wise, are all above average, but their record and gameplay doesn't reflect that. That's why I don't have Dalvin Cook as high and like I said, I kind of disrespected him by leaving him out of the top 5. But it just doesn't seem impactful to me. When I watch Derrick Henry run, the man's winning games in overtime by himself single-handedly. But let's see what he says for Dalvin Cook. Cook has continued to get better each year, with his greatest performance coming last season when he logged 1,900 scrimmage yards and 17 total touchdowns. His explosiveness is a problem for any defense. Like I said, him and Aaron Jones, they've got explosive talent there. Is a problem for any defense, and the more the Vikings utilize him in the passing game, the better the offense attack will be. All right, so he has Dalvin Cook as kind of our number 2 here. Let's see what he says for the number 3 running back. Here we go. Nick Chubb. All right, so he agrees with us. We just kind of had Saquon Barkley elevated a little bit higher, but here we go, Nick Chubb. Yeah, I mean, a great physical runner, so here we go. Even when considering everything Kareem Hunt brings to the Browns offense, the unit's success hinges on Nick Chubb's legs and playmaking ability. I firmly believe that if it weren't for Chubb, who averages 5.2 yards a carry for his career, folks, that's absolutely wild. The Browns wouldn't have become contenders they are now. So Nick Chubb, number 3. Alrighty, here we go. Number 4. I doubt he has Ezekiel Elliott this ranked high. Or not Ezekiel Elliott, Najee Harris, just because he's a rookie. We are just big on him. But he has Ezekiel Elliott 6. Alrighty. I mean, him just floundering last season just put a real bad taste in my mouth. I can't root for this man anymore. When you are now the main guy, Dak Prescott goes down, you have Andy Dalton as your quarterback, you're going to rely on your running game. He just couldn't get it done. I can't buy into it. He didn't even rush for 1,000 yards last season, folks. I can't get behind that. So he has Ezekiel Elliott, number 6. That's kind of our 4. And then number 7, our 5th here, he's got Saquon Barkley. Alrighty. So let's see why he drops him down low here. Saquon Barkley entered years 3 with the high expectations after a knee injury sidelined him for all but 2 games in the 2020 season. The Giants need him in a big way as the organization figures out whether this young team is heading in the right direction or if they need to rebuild again. Saquon can absolutely take this rejuvenated Joe Judge team far. We just need to see it. So that's kind of what he went on, a little bit with the injury. But I am big on Saquon Barkley. I truly think he can get it done. A big physical runner, and I'm all about it. Alrighty, so now let's just kind of see what he says for the rest of it. Let's see where he ranks these other kind of running backs that we were kind of saying, top 15, top 20. And let's see where he puts Najee Harris, because I am interested in see if he has some in the top 10, top 15. Maybe he puts him 32 just because he hasn't played. But here we go. Number 8, he puts Aaron Jones. So once again, I mean, that was kind of our number 5. He has them as kind of their number 6 since we took Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey out. So we're right up there. Our top 5, we're all kind of up there, except Najee Harris. So Maurice Jones-Drews agrees with us, folks. I mean, what more do you need to hear? Why are we not big time? I don't know. So here we go. Number 9, Joe Mixon. Alrighty. Number 10, Josh Jacobs. I put Josh Jacobs over Joe Mixon. Number 11, Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I mean, that Colts running back committee is absolutely fantastic, held by Jonathan Taylor. J.K. Dobbins, number 12. I love the respect of him. He was a rookie, right, last season? And he got it done, and now he's top 12. I absolutely love that. Number 13, David Montgomery for the Bears. I think that's a little high. I'm not a big fan of David Montgomery. I don't think he's truly that great. He did rush for 1,000 yards last season, so I do have to put a little respect on his name. Cam Akers, number 14. Austin Eckler, number 15. Alrighty. I am a big Austin Eckler fan. Great kind of pass-catching running back as well. So I can agree with that. All right, he has Najee Harris 16. So decent there, top kind of half of the league. I'll give him credit. But let's see what he says. The Steelers have finally found a new bell cow in Harris, who has similar skill set to Le'Veon Bell. One of the best backs to come out of the draft in quite some time. I truly agree. Harris will be at the center of the Steelers' offense as a versatile weapon who will take a ton of pressure off the aging Big Ben Roethlisberger. If the Steelers do make one final Lombardi Trophy push with Big Ben under center, the rookie will play a huge role in their success. So we've been saying that all year, and Maurice Jones-Drew agrees with us as well, so I'll take that. Number 17, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Number 18, James Robinson. Number 19, Chris Carson. Number 20, Antonio Gibson. Number 21, Leonard Fournette. Number 22, DeAndre Swift. Number 23, Mike Davis. Number 24, Melvin Gordon. So we agree. We don't have Melvin Gordon that's highly ranked, folks. I don't think he's anything special. And, Maurice Jones-Drew says the same thing here. That's why we were a little upset that the Broncos went with Gordon over Phillip Lindsay. Now, he doesn't have Phillip Lindsay in the top 24 either, but I do think overall the youth of Phillip Lindsay, I would take that over Melvin Gordon any day of the week here. So, once again, I'm not big on Melvin Gordon, folks, and I don't really think there's any reason to be big. Number 25, Raheem Mostert. That might be a little low. Not 25. I think I have him above Mike Davis. I don't really buy Mike Davis that much. DeAndre Swift I think is way too high for his position so far. Leonard Fournette, I don't care. Whatever. I mean, he's just kind of, he's not getting all the carries. That's a star-studded Bucs team. He got it done rookie year with the Jags. Antonio Gibson, Chris Carson, I mean, all these running backs, there's just nothing special about them. So I would definitely put Raheem Mostert a little higher than 25, probably top 20, maybe 20. Chase Edmonds, number 26. Miles Sanders, 27. I think that's a little low. I think he kind of he was the only offensive piece that consistently got it done for the Eagles last year. 867 rushing yards. Pretty solid. Number 28, Tevin Coleman. 29, Damian Harris. Where the heck? Oh, they're talking about running back ones. I think Phillip Lindsay is a running back 2, unfortunately, wherever he is now. All right. Number 30, Mark Ingram. And then number 31, Devin Singletary. And then 32 is going to be Myles Gaskin. How funny is that? We said that right off the rip. So, yeah, I mean. All righty. So our top 5 is pretty much similar. If we included Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, pretty much would have been right on the money. So, hey. Folks, what else do we need to show y'all? Take us seriously. We know what we're talking about. Jeez. We get no respect. No respect around here. All right, what else do we got here? Here we go. Going late here with the stories. So we got no problem with that. We don't have to talk about, NBA tonight, so. All right, but here we go. Talking about people getting endorsements. Jeez Louise, I didn't know it was going to be popping off like this. I guess kind of shame on us for being kind of naive to thinking people aren't going to get big deals. But people are getting big deals now. So let's talk about it. We got 3 deals to talk about. Now that NCAA athletes can get paid for their name, image, and likeness. So, Arkansas wide receiver Trey Knox and his Husky Blue have inked a deal with PetSmart. Yes, get that PetSmart money. Love it. We don't know the deal amount, but it's PetSmart, so I'm assuming it's nothing big. It's not even Petco. I mean, the second best leading pet company out there. But hey, get your money while you can. Great dog. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just signing him for the dog. I mean, look at this, like all white Husky. But Trey Knox says, quote, I've always been proud to be an Arkansas football player, but I'm just as proud to be a dog dad. So he inks a deal with PetSmart. Yes, sir. Get that money while you can. And hey, if PetSmart's paying the bills, shit. That's all you had to say, PetSmart. I got a cat. Let us be the face. Let us be the face of PetSmart. Yeah, big shout out to Trey Knox. Get that money. Alrighty, we got Miami quarterback D'Eriq King. He kicked off multiple deals. Let's talk about his deals. So, King has been active as any college athlete on day one of the NIL era, name, image, likeness, folks. He signed deals with 3 businesses as well as Dreamfield, the digital marketplace that he helped create and is now part owner. He signed with College Hunks Hauling Junk, folks. College Hunks Hauling Junk, geez. Moving Company, Murphy Auto Group, and The Wharf. So once again, folks, I mean, these are kind of, regional businesses, small local businesses that are supporting their kind of collegiate athletes, and you guys don't like that? College Hunks Hauling Junk? They can't get that money? They can't get Murphy Auto Group? Little Murphy down the street, struggling business. He's got D'Eriq King's face in the window. Oh, I'm going to get my car fixed by Murphy. Little old Murph over there. 9-year-old Murph. Let him get that money. And The Wharf, an open-air bar and event space that his UM teammates frequent on off-season Friday nights. So, hey, drinking for free on the house. Love it. So, the deals should net him more than $20,000. Once again, I mean, we are going to talk about it. We are going to get to a big deal. But, I mean, folks, PetSmart, $20,000 for 5 deals. I mean, folks, this is the money we're talking about, folks. Real, just solid money. Solid money that you can invest, that you can start saving since you have, like, no bills because of the scholarships and all that, that you can just start saving and investing and just getting it done. Start building wealth, actual wealth. And you guys want to knock that? Come on, man. 20 grand. Give me 20 grand. Jeez, I'll Murphy. I got a car. You want to fix my car? You could be the face of Takes My Fans. College hunks hauling junk. I'm not college. I'm a little bit of a hunk. I'll haul junk. Shit. So, I mean, folks, get the money while you can. 20 grand, folks. Love it. Love seeing that. And there's plenty more on the way. In fact, King says he's heard from representatives of at least 50 brands across the nation. So get that money while you can, folks. We're talking about 5 deals already, 20 grand. And now let's talk about the big one. The big one, the big daddy, the one that you would never hear from me again. The one that I'm done already. I'm done. Thank you for the deal. I'm done in 4 years. But here we go. Hercy Miller, incoming Tennessee State freshman and son of Master P. So once again, a little bit of family helping it out a little bit. You got the family name, Master P's son. Yeah, well, we'll sign you. You haven't even started. You're not even, he's an incoming freshman, folks. So, once again, the cream of the crop are always going to get theirs, folks. And you want to knock De'Aaron King for getting fucking Murphy money? 20 grand Murphy money? So, Hercy Miller, incoming Tennessee State freshman of son Master P, is signing a deal with Web Apps America for $2 million. $2 million. Miller will be a brand ambassador for the tech company who's committed to supporting HBCU leaders. So, geez Louise, folks, $2 million already. Just absolutely kind of mind-blowing. You don't even have to be good at the sport. You're set for life. Obviously, you're already set for life by having Master P, your dad, but now you're getting $2 million on your own. Pretty solid. But, once again, folks, this also helps colleges as well because now he has to stay for 4 years. That's in the contract. As long as kind of, you are here at this college, this is a 4-year deal for $2 million. So, once again, it provides incentives for these kids to stay all 4 years. Isn't that what everybody was kind of whining about? Oh, my God, how could these kids just bail after 2 years, bail after 3 years? They don't want to learn. They're getting free college, but they don't want to stay for all 4 years? Jeez, these entitled kids. Now they have the reason to stay all 4 years. So now they're getting the degree. Isn't that what y'all wanted? Isn't that what you are crying and begging for these kids to get the degree, to get that education? Now they are while getting money. Win-win for everybody. No? You can't knock it. Folks, I don't see any way you can knock the NIL licensing now. Everything that y'all were complaining about is getting taken care of now. People are getting smaller deals. Not everybody is Master P's son. Let's be real, folks. I mean, he probably would have gotten maybe a deal, maybe a $20,000 Murphy deal like De'Aaron King was getting, maybe the PetSmart deal. But this man's not getting a $2 million deal, especially when he hasn't even been in any college game yet. It's Master P's name carrying him a little bit. I'll give him his respect. I'll give Hercy Miller his own respect for doing it on his own, but having a little bit of a big head start. So, once again, y'all wanted, this man was going to get the money regardless. It was just going to be backdoor money. You know what I mean? Now these kind of not bigger players are still getting theirs. I celebrate that 1,000,000,000%, folks. So Hercy Miller, already a millionaire on his own, has to stay there for 4 years. And he's going to get his degree. Shit. So, and once again, that helps the overall college. I can lock in this great player for 4 years. I can have this man for 4 years. Imagine, I think Trevor Lawrence only played, did he play 4? I think he played 3. Imagine Trevor Lawrence 1 more year. Yeah, Clemson. Woo, making that money off of Trevor Lawrence, who's also making his own money. So once again, it helps everybody. We're locking these kids in for 4 years now, baby. Colleges are going to start kind of saying, oh, no, you need 5 years. You need 5 years. Actually, we just kind of knowledge. There's so much more knowledge now and information. We actually have to add a 5th year to the degree. Oh man, now you're signed for 5 years. You're signed for 5 full years now. So expect that to start happening. I wouldn't put it past colleges to do that. So we're getting PetSmart money. We're getting Murphy, college hunks hauling junks money. Hey, I'm all about it. And then we're also getting fucking $2 million for Web Apps America. Brand ambassador. Brand ambassador, folks. Just call him an influencer. Fucking influencer, folks. $2 million. There's money to be made, folks. Go get the money. Go get the fucking money. There is money to be made. So we're trying to do. We're trying to get the money. We know money's out there. We're looking for it. Get the money. Alrighty, those were all the stories that we needed to cover for today. So let's head over to the NBA, break down the game from last night, and then I don't even want to utter these words, but I have to. There's no money to be made tonight in the NBA. There's no moneymaker tonight, folks. Maybe is there Stanley Cup Finals on tonight? Because I'm taking Montreal. They're down 2-0. I'm taking them. Back at home? Yes, sir. So maybe we'll see what they got. But here we go. Bucks Hawks Game 5 in Milwaukee, and man, oh man, did they just prove us wrong? What was our big thing? What was our big reasoning for betting the Hawks +3 last night? Who was going to make up the 30-point production that Giannis has? Well, it turns out everybody could score now. It turns out everybody could put up 25+ points now. I don't know. Y'all couldn't do that with Giannis on the floor, but now everybody wants to come out of the woodwork scoring? Shame on me. Egg on my face. For disrespecting the Bucks. So here we go. This was the lineup that they used. Drew Holiday at the 1. Chris Middleton still at the 2. PJ Tucker still at the 3. So not even taking our own advice. Mike Budenhauser. It worked out, so I guess you're right. Bobby Portis squeezing in at the 4 for Giannis. And Brook Lopez still staying at the 5. Drew Holiday, 25 points, 13 assists, 6 rebounds. Great night. Shot, not the greatest. 3 of 8 from the 3, 45% on 20 shots, but 25 points. Give me that. Yes, sir. Chris Middleton, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Shot 50% on 20 shots, 2 of 6 from the 3. Great night by the man. Brook Lopez finally scored, who wasn't even playing starting big minutes in the series when Giannis was on the floor. This man finally wants to go absolutely beast mode. 33 points, led the team in scoring, led the team in plus minus in a +17. Only 7 rebounds, but he wants to shoot 77% on 18 shots. Nobody could lock up Brook Lopez last night. Jeez, Brook Lopez was getting it whenever he wanted at will. 33 points by the man. That's where all the points needed to come from, folks. That was the 30 missing points that we needed to see, and Brook Lopez did it all. And then Bobby Portis, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Great night. Decent efficiency shooting. Like I said, 9 of 20. Same thing with Drew Holiday, 45% on the field. PJ Tucker only putting up 5 points. Pat Connaughton off the bench, providing 9 points, but just once again, that elite 4, folks, everybody putting up 20+ points. That's exactly what they needed, and that's exactly what they got. So I apologize for disrespecting the Bucks. They all just can score now. Does Giannis slow down this offense? Kind of seemed like it. The way the Bucks offense was running last night was kind of really great. Giannis, little ball dominant, doesn't really pass the ball once he gets it. Does he slow down the overall offense? Are the Bucks better without Giannis than they are with them? It's interesting to talk about. We'll see what happens in Game 5 if they can get it done on the road. Or Game 6 if they can get it done on the road in Atlanta. But the way this offense was moving and the way that they were scoring, I give them credit, folks, truly. So, well done for the Bucks last night. And making us kind of have egg on our face. All right, and let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this game wasn't even really that competitive or that close. Really, the three ball was keeping the Hawks decently in the game. It really should have been a 20-point blowout, but the way the Hawks were shooting the three was pretty solid. They put up 15 of 38 from the three. Just 15 three-pointers alone is great. And that was really their saving grace to make this a decently competitive game. But Lou Williams, this was their starting lineup. Just Lou Williams at the 1, Bogdanovich still at the 2, Kevin Huerter still at the 3, John Collins still at the 4, and Clint Capella at the 5. So just kind of exactly what they were doing in game number 3, 4, without Trae Young. But Lou Williams, 17 points, 5 assists. He shot 1 of 4 from the 3 and 53% on 15 shots. Decent night. What you kind of expect Lou Williams to do in a starting role. Bogdanovich was kind of on his bullshit. 28 points, led the team in scoring, 7 of 16 from 3. Once again, the threes were kind of on last night for the Sox team. It's just they had no defense. Clint Capella, 6 points, 8 rebounds. John Collins, truly disappointed in him a little bit. Not that great defense. I mean, he was locking up kind of Giannis decently during the series, but now when, just Brook Lopez down low, nobody can lock up that man. The man was playing like 20, 25 minutes the first 2 games. They were barely playing him. He got benched early because he was getting toasted by Trae Young, game 1. And this is the man that came up and led the team in scoring for the Bucks. Jeez. So John Collins, 19 points, 8 rebounds. And then Kevin Huerter, 8 points. He shot abysmal, 25% on 12 shots, 2 of 7 from the 3. Unfortunate. And then Danilo Gallinari off the bench. Once again, great. 19 points. Real solid there. So they had it. I mean, Cam Reddish put up 7 points on 5 shots. Onika Okongwu put up 6 points on 3 shots. So they got a great contribution off the bench. It's just they had no defense anywhere. They could not stop it down low. They put up 112 points. That's pretty solid for a playoff game. But they had no defense to stop the Bucks, and they end up losing by 11, 123-112. So Hawks -3, no go, no good, and the Bucks take a 3-2 series lead heading into Atlanta. We'll see if Trae Young's good to go. Game 5, what we're hearing from Giannis is just kind of it's pain tolerance that's holding him back. He's kind of good to go, but it's so painful that he can't go. So we'll see if he's good to go for Game 6. We'll see if Trae Young is good to go for Game 6. But the Bucks are up 3-2, and the Hawks are backs against the wall. Alrighty, before we close out the show, is there hockey on tonight? Is there Stanley Cup Finals on tonight? Today, 8 o'clock, perfect. Canadians plus a goal and a half at home. We're taking that, baby. They're down 2-0 back in Montreal. They need this big time, folks. This is big for them. They need to get it done. I don't see them kind of going down 3-1. We get the goal and a half plus. We'll take that all day. Absolutely. Canadians plus 1.5 tonight. Since there's no NBA, we'll resort to hockey, which we do love watching. We love it. We may talk about it more next season when it becomes a little bit more mainstream because it's going to be on ESPN next season. So that's going to be big attention, big viewers, big eyes. And we could squeeze that in to the show because I am a big fan of hockey and soccer. I love the finesse of the game. Low scoring games and I don't know how to talk about it just because I've been talking about, NFL and NBA. I know what to look for. I know what stats mean. I know how to interpret the stats, and I know what to look for. With hockey and soccer, games are going 1-0. All right, this man had the goal. This man had the assist. What are we going to be talking about? The great saves all day? So if we make just kind of, short segments. I love the finesse, the 2-on-1s, the great passes, the finesse of the stick to flick it up top left corner to kind of bend it around in soccer to fucking bend it from 30 yards out, get it top left corner pocket. Yes, sir. So I love the finesse of the game and I love the scoring. We just have to kind of figure out how to actually talk about it. And then we have to once again, what stats are good, what stats are not good. I haven't been focusing on stats on hockey and soccer. That's why we don't talk about it on the show. I know what stats are good in football. I've been talking about it for years on years on years. I know what to look for. So that's the only reason why we don't talk about hockey on the show. But I do love the finesse of the game, folks. I'm all about all sports. Baseball, I only watch in the playoffs. I'm not watching 182 games in a season. I mean, there's no urgency there, folks. So a little background about me. Learning every day. Learning every day about Takes by Fans. But Canadians plus 1.5 tonight on the Stanley Cup Finals. Alrighty, folks. That's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hopefully Dan Snyder isn't knocking on our door threatening to murder us for pointing out what was going on in Washington. But we'll be back tomorrow, folks, live noon Eastern. We'll be talking about no NBA, unfortunate, but we will be able to preview the game tomorrow. So we're breaking down the stories, everything that happens. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll see what happens. Most likely no news tomorrow, but we'll make the show happen. We always get it done. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we are back tomorrow, folks, live noon Eastern.